Problems and more problems is what life is all about, right? At least it seems this way sometimes. They can be super annoying and most of the time we don't want to deal with them or we just simply avoid them. Well, the problem is that unless you confront them, they will never disappear and they will continue being that, problems. But we have a superpower that most people don't realize. You know what that power is? Yes, you guessed it right. Imagination. Today, we are going to unveil the role of imagination in entrepreneurship. In a few minutes, you are going to know what is imagination, why it is so important, the different type of imagination, and how to work it out. From now on, you are going to enjoy the supernatural power of this skill. Without further delay, let's get started, shall we? What is imagination? Imagination is the workshop where all the plans created by humans are embodied. Drive and desire are given shape, profile, and action by the help of the imaginative faculty of the mind. Defining imagination is a little bit complicated since it's something immaterial. But for me, imagination is this. It is the intrinsic capacity of the human mind that only humans possess to create, either from zero or from interrelating different concepts. Imagination is the most noticeable skill that differentiates us humans from any other living being. This is the best definition I can give you. Types of imagination. There are different types of imagination. Depending on the source, the classification might vary, but since my source is Think and Grow Rich book, I'm going to follow that classification. Well, we have two different ones: synthetic imagination and creative imagination. Synthetic imagination. This type of imagination is the most used. Through this faculty, one can combine all concepts, ideas, or plans in new combinations. This faculty does not create. At least it doesn't create from zero. It doesn't conceive completely new concepts. It combines the known ones in different orders to produce different outcomes. Most of the time, we use this type of imagination. We use it in our day-to-day life. Creative imagination. It is the faculty by which hunches and inspirations come from, are received. This type of imagination is the one used by geniuses, like scientists. For example, This is what Einstein or any other scientist that conceive things that have never been conceived before use. Let's put an example to make this clearer. Before Newton explained gravity, no one knew that it existed. Conceiving this type of things requires creative imagination. We don't really know where this comes from. But in the book Think and Grow Rich, it is explained in the following way. Please, I beg you to keep an open mind, okay? It is the faculty that allows the finite mind of humans to communicate directly with the infinite intelligence. If I am honest, I can't explain it better because we don't know where this even comes from where these kind of thoughts come from. We can't even understand this without entering into an spiritual or esoteric maybe world. I am not going to continue with this one since I don't even understand it, but please be my guest and give it a few thoughts. The role of imagination in entrepreneurship. First of all, I have to say that from my point of view, imagination is the single most important skill that a person can cultivate. If you have a sharp imagination, problems will not last long in your life because you will find a solution. Considering that having a business is basically solving problems, well, it's self-explanatory, right? We, as business owners, need imagination, yes or yes? Just think about it. When running a business, you are going to confront problems. I prefer to call them challenges, okay? Every single day. Every challenge that you face is going to be different from the one of yesterday. Let's be honest, if you don't have imagination, it is going to take you a lot of time to solve them, if you solve them at all. For this simple reason, the role of imagination in entrepreneurship is crucial. I can't even stress it enough. But don't worry, if you are not used to use this skill, it never disappears, but it can fall into complete disuse. If this is the case, let me share with you a huge range of things that you can do to wake it up and improve this absolute crucial skill. Let's begin, shall we? How to work out your imagination. Imagination never disappears, but it can fall into total inactivity due to the lack of use. That's why you must work it out. The role of imagination in entrepreneurship can't be overlooked. If you want to build a successful business and life, of course. You have to keep your imagination as strong and as active as you can. Ideas are the starting point of all fortunes. Ideas are product of the imagination. Well, that's a really good question. I have to say that it's not an easy question, since imagination is an abstract concept. Also, we all are different. There are so many different ways to increase it that it will be a madness to try to explain them all. In fact, in order to answer it, we'll have to use, well, imagination. There are innumerable ways to increase your imagination. So, I am going to share with you a couple of them so you can get started. The children way, the artistic way, and the playful way. The children way, if we had to define a children just in one word, it would be imagination, right? They are so full of it that we could use some of it for ourselves. I think that the reason why they have so much of it is because they don't know what is actually possible and what is not. They let their minds run wild. Also, they don't fear judgment. That helps a lot too. The first thing that you need to do in order to use this method is to put yourself in a state of mind in which there are no limitations, there are no limits. You have to forget everything that you know. To make this clearer, what would you do if you could do absolutely anything without any limitation? Could you fly? Would you have magic powers? Could you teleport yourself? Think deeply about it. What could you do? Or even better, what could you not do? The best example of this are fantasy books. In this type of books, everything is possible. So, if you are lacking any imagination skill, I will highly recommend that you read some fantasy books. Another option is to watch cartoons. In their world, everything is possible. By doing this, you can get a glance of what imagination is in its purest form. If all of this fails, just talk to a little child and pay attention to what they say. It will amaze you. The artistic way, painting, music, and writing are one of the most ancient ways to create. Not to mention that they can be really fun to do. Also, they are a way of expression. They can help you release some tension, inducing a deep state of relaxation. At the same time, they are incredibly rewarding. On top of that, they are activities that anyone can practice. You don't need any skill to practice them. You don't need to create great pieces of art to create art. If you decide to do it this way, remember that we are trying to increase and work out our imagination, so don't copy others. If you are painting, don't paint something that you can see. Try to come up with something original. At the beginning, you might take a lot of inspiration on the things that you see, but with time, your pieces of work will become more and more original. You can do the same with music and with writing. The playful way. Another way is to play with games in which you can create things, like construction games. They can be on the computer or physical, like Legos or something like that. Be creative. Use imagination. If you are good with electronics, or at least you like it, you could even create robots. That will definitely take you a lot of imagination and creativity. A digital education for a digital world. We live in an extremely digital world, and it is going to be more and more digital every day, and we simply can't escape it. Don't wait until you have no job to acquire the digital skills that you need today. Are you going to be working your ass off your whole life until you can no more? Or are you going to prepare for the inevitable future? A digital education for a digital world. Start your journey with the right foot. If you are ready to take the bull by the horns and you are on my webpage, just click the banner. If you are on YouTube, just go to the description and start your journey with the right foot. The role of imagination in entrepreneurship. Conclusion. As you can see, there are a million ways to increase your imagination. These are just some of them. This is the perfect moment to start practicing, don't you think? The possibilities are endless. But you know what is the best way of all of them? Starting. Start right now to apply what we have learned today and start waking up that monstrous skill that is imagination. If you can't find a way, just create one. Thanks a lot for watching and see you soon in the next video.